Hello, everybody. Welcome to our second meeting for the Belize trip. I'm still not great with names. I'm just going to put that right up. I used to be really good at it when I was younger, but now I'm not. So I'm going to have you guys go around the room and introduce yourself one more time. The more we kind of get to know each other, the better. What's on the agenda today is I'm going to actually be talking to you guys about the syllabus and some of the assignments. So that you can already kind of start studying. One big thing that you guys are going to do while you're down there is the fish identification. So I'm going to give you the list of fish that you're going to need to know. I'll go through some of them today. Great students, a lot of them had like flashcards on the airplane just to help them. We'll have the quiz actually down in Belize once you get there. But it'll benefit snorkelers and divers. Once you get there, you see these gorgeous fish. You'll be happy that you know the names and a little bit about them, okay? So we'll be going through that. I want to just make sure you guys know what I expect of you. Really, it's the fish ID. There's a presentation at the end. There's going to be a photo journal that you'll need to turn in once you get back, which is your top 20 pictures that you take. A lot of students take like 3,000 pictures, and it's hard to decide on the top 20, but you will share it with the rest of the group so everybody has pictures from everybody else. I highly recommend that you take pictures of each other. You might see these beautiful, scenes and other fish, but it's always great that you guys take pictures of each other. So make sure that you focus on other students as well, because that really helps you guys document your trip too. Okay, so let me go ahead, and my students from outside the university haven't added yet. So let's see here. I am going to go ahead and pass out the syllabus to everybody. Syllabi. I'll just leave this big stack here. And then we'll go through it. And hi, Chris. Chris is actually going to talk to you guys about our new course that we're developing that is linked to the Scarlet Macaw Project. So I want to make sure that you guys are aware of this. When we're down there participating in the Scarlet Macaw Project, you guys are going to be able to see the birds, score the birds. You're going to measure their beak size, their wingspan. You'll be able to, you can't talk to them while you're down there. You'll go in 5 students at a time. But Chris and I have developed a laboratory in connection with the Animal Biotechnology course. It's a 4-credit course, a lecture, and a lab. If you guys need any kind of laboratory experience, this is it, okay? So we're going to get feather tips while we're down there. We're just going to gather them up in the shack where the babies are. In the flight cage, which would probably represent the birds that we scored last year. And then we're going to try to hike to the nesting sites so we can get some feathers there. We'll be, again, trying to either isolate the DNA in the field, or we're going to just cut the tips off the feathers and bring them back here. The undergraduate students in this lab will actually be isolating the DNA. You'll be learning how to run a gel. You're actually going to be doing some PCR. We have a number of labs to kind of really teach you guys about DNA fingerprinting, and then hopefully do some analysis so that we can determine parentage, nesting behavior, and Chris is going to talk a little bit more about that. But if we get, it's authentic research, you guys, we would like to get some papers out of this, and we will put every single undergraduate that participated in the laboratory on the paper. We don't care if there's like 50 people on the paper, but it's a great opportunity for you guys, great kind of resume builder as well. So, did you want to hook up?
No,
No?
What am I talking about? Just the class 3509?
Yeah, so, 3509, yeah.
So I don't exactly know what the makeup is of the Belize group.
Yeah, we have a majority, a lot of them, I think there's actually 9 animal science. We have some CLA students. We have some CSE students. We do have a couple of CBS students as well. Yes.
Yeah, so 3509, so this is the animal biotechnology course. It doesn't have any prerequisites, and we designed it this way so that it'll fulfill the CLE requirements.
Yeah, it's got the biology core, biological sciences core, and the technology and society theme. So if you guys haven't fulfilled that yet, it'll fulfill both of those.
Yeah, both of those requirements, and it has a lab portion, so that. So I think this would be a really useful course for even for people who are not in animal science, especially for people not in animal science. You know, to help you fulfill some of these requirements that if you get a lot of bang for your buck by taking this class. The course will be structured as a 4 credit hours. So basically, it'll be a standard lecture course where I'll be going over the uses, the issues around the ethics, the regulations, but most importantly, the biology underlying animal biotechnology and how biotechnology is used. So I won't be focusing on plants, but anything that's in animals it's only going to be getting more. So anything that involves genetic engineering, you've heard about CRISPR, you've heard about flavor saver tomatoes, things like that. We'll be talking about all these different types of technology, and also for every module in the class, there's a vignette that describes the types of careers that are available if you find this sort of part of it interesting. Then you can take it a step further and say, who works in this area? What kind of jobs do you get in this area? What kind of education do you need in this area? So I think it's going to be a really useful survey course about biotechnology. And then, as Melissa said, the lab course is going to be really interesting. So the problem with the macaws is that they're under heavy predation, heavy poaching. So, and it's a small population. We don't understand the population dynamics. We don't understand who's related to who. We don't understand which birds are captive bred, if how well they're integrating into the wild population. We don't understand how that wild population has diverged from the global population of the scarlet macaws that was originally a one big gene pool in South and Central America, and has since been disrupted by human activity. So now you've got isolated populations.
Yeah.
But we don't know really what's going on there. And so in the lab we're going to be learning everything from how to extract DNA right up to doing DNA fingerprinting, right up to analyzing those fingerprints to understand how these birds are related to each other and over a population structure. And as Melissa said, we're going to publish it.
Yeah.
Because this is real science. This is not like okay, follow the directions here, mix chemical A with chemical B, and see it changes color. This is like real science. This is going to be messy. There's going to be some problems, but the point is, it matters, right? So, and it's because of what's going on in Belize.
Yeah, and there's a lot of confiscated birds that end up in Guatemala too. If we actually are able to do some DNA profiling, we'll be able to tell if those birds came from Belize.
Right. Those confiscated birds cannot be released back into the wild because you don't know which population they came from. And these birds live, 8 years.
Yeah, 80 years, yeah.
So this is a long time to have the captive bird that's missing from a population. If the population's only got 200 birds, taking one individual out, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So if we can get that bird to identify it and say, this bird definitively comes from this population, we can release it back into the wild. Hopefully, not tomorrow, but hopefully be able to do that. And that'll actually help the population genetic diversity.
So the work that you guys, if you sign up for the course and you participate in the lab, the work that you do has real application. Right?
Yeah, it matters.
Yeah, it does.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want me to
say? Ashland is right there. She's, So I'm going to hook you guys up afterwards and talk about analysis. Take some pizza for sure. Okay, so Carl isn't here yet. You guys all had a chance to take the IDI. So he's going to give you your results today, and he's going to talk about that. So he is the Director of Diversity and Inclusion, And so he's just going to make a short presentation, about 20, 30 minutes, okay? So I might be interrupted, but let me go ahead and pass this out to you guys. I'm going to take one for myself. And then we're just going to go through some fish. Hi. All right. There you go. All right. Did my students... Okay. Okay. So my students abroad at other universities haven't joined us yet, but we're still recording, so hopefully we can send that off to them. All right, you guys. I'm just going to go through some really cool fish that you're going to see down there. Hopefully this gets you excited. So remember, this is one of your assignments here. Let's take a look at the syllabus first. So when you take a look at the syllabus, this is a lot of information. It goes into a lot more detail on a day-to-day basis of what you guys are going to be doing. This is a very fast-paced course. I'll just, again, kind of give you a rundown. The first week, the divers start off on the coast. They're going to be diving. The snorkelers go to the wildlife rescue. They're going to be working with the wildlife veterinarian. You guys are going to be doing an anatomy, radiology, parasitology lab. So you're going to work side by side with Dr. Isabel. Some of you guys got to meet her already. So that's going to be a great experience. That's the first week. Then, and both are very fast-paced. Then you switch, okay? So the people at the wildlife rescue are then going to go on the coast. They're going to be snorkeling. They're going to, I'm going to be talking to Patty, if you guys are interested, the snorkelers, to do one, like, experience diving, where they'll take you down if you want, so that you get some experience as to what it is like diving. Other than that, you guys are going to be, and that's optional, but other than that, you guys are going to be snorkeling at a lot of coral reef formations, the mangroves, even the divers are actually going to get a tutorial on diving, or the mangroves and mangrove ecology, and we will actually be snorkeling through that area too. Then we all come back together at the BWRC. This is about 2 weeks into the trip. We will be hiking. It's a 3-mile hike into the Chickaboo Forest, where we'll be participating in the Scarlet Macaw Project. We're going to be all together then. We'll have a big bus. You will be able to leave some things behind at San Ignacio. Carry what you'll need for just 3 days, okay, because you're going to literally be backpacking into Las Cuevas. We'll be there for 3 days. We hike back out. Then the last 3 days is in Guatemala, where we're actually going to be visiting a huge Mayan ruin. We'll be staying in Flores, which is a beautiful, like, lake shore town. It's literally a town in the middle of a lake. You have to cross a bridge over. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's like almost like a Mediterranean town. But it's got a lot of nightlife. It's got great restaurants. It's got a big cathedral at the top of the hill, and it's just a great way to end the trip. It's kind of a fun celebration. We go back to San Ignacio, and then we fly out. So like I said, it's very fast-paced, you guys, but you'll be experiencing a lot. So you can read through this and kind of go through the itinerary day by day. We did a lot of this at the last meeting, so I don't want to go through it too much. But go ahead and turn to, let's see, the page that has the grading. You'll see, I think this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Page 4, you'll see evaluation and the grading system. Most of the grades are going to come from participation, okay? So it's really more or less a hands-on experience. So I want to make sure there's a lot of trips that we have to, like with Dr. Isabel, you're going to need to be at the hospital doing rounds, basically at 7:30 a.m. So it's important to, get some sleep, make sure that you're up and at 'em at an early time. You've got a lecture, you've got chores to do, you've got, labs, radiology lab, anatomy lab. It's pretty fast-paced, but all of that, those field excursions are worth 40 points total. You'll have 2 quizzes. One quiz is the Fish ID quiz, And then Dr. Isabel has a quiz too, and I think it's more like an oral quiz that she's just kind of throwing things out at you, like showing you x-rays and asking you certain things, and it's more about participation on her end. But on my end, it's the fish identification quiz. The final presentation, this is the marine biology module. Each one of you, when you're on the coast, you're going to choose one invertebrate and one vertebrate. Everyone's going to have a different one. So what you're going to do is you are going to do some research while you're down there. You don't have to bring your computer. You'll have internet access, but I would say maybe an iPad or even a Kindle or something that you can connect to the internet. Do some research on your invertebrate and vertebrate that you've chosen. And then when you're snorkeling or diving, if you do spot your animal of interest, I want you guys to jot down where they were, what other animals were in the vicinity. There's little pufferfish. This is kind of cool. When you guys go to the big barrel sponges, you'll see these sponges that are literally called barrel sponges. Each one has a little, like one pufferfish in it, okay? And he's very territorial. So if you look in those barrel sponges, you'll just see the one little pufferfish. If he's mating, you'll see two, okay? But other than that, they're little territorial little fish. But I want you guys, for your fish, make sure you document where you saw it, what was its behavior, was it territorial, was it like afraid, and you can just talk about that in your presentation again. It's just fun. It's just more of a fun presentation at the end of the marine biology module, okay? So, and then the photo journal. So obviously this is, just more fun stuff. Again, this is more of an experiential learning, okay? So that's the overall and the grading guidelines here. Before you go, you will have to sign a waiver just so that we can use some of the pictures that you take. It'll say something like, I give you permission to use my photos and videos. So with that, you guys, before I get to the fish identification here, I did start, let's see if I can find it here. I did start a Facebook page. Let's see here for you guys. Here it is. Okay, so what you guys see here, you will go to this island. It is called Laughing Bird Key. This is where we will do the coral reef restoration. So you actually get to hear a lecture on how it's kind of like a big matrix that they have with pipe and rope that they tie these coral reefs to. And then they have been able to actually plant them, and they have survived. So this is called the Coral Reef Restoration Project at Laughing Bird Key. This is called Laughing Bird Key. So everybody gets to participate in that. You do swim. The woman that gives the lecture, she is like Olympic swimmer. I don't know. She's like, you wouldn't guess it, but she swims like nobody I know. She's like a half a mile ahead of me. I'm not a strong swimmer, so if anybody wants to fall back and swim with me in the back, that's perfectly fine. But she's going to have you guys swim out, basically, to, everybody's going to be just swimming. This isn't a dive thing. You'll swim out to the coral reef restoration where they have the site, and then you'll swim back. There's kind of some current, too, so just be prepared. There is some swimming involved with this activity. Again, if you're not a strong swimmer, I always bring up the rear because I really am not a strong swimmer. But I can leisurely, and if anybody is worried about swimming, we always have life vests or, those banana things that you can use too. So don't worry about it if you're not a strong swimmer, okay? And then that's Junior Buddy at the top there. You guys are going to get to experience that at the Belize Zoo. I talked to you guys about the Junior Buddy experience last time. Okay, so I did put up this Facebook page for you guys. If you guys want to, it's called Belize 2017, University of Minnesota. I could either invite every one of you guys, or you guys can ask to be invited. So I really want everybody to be involved in this Facebook page. And the reason why is we're going to establish a group down here. Literally, this is how we communicate in Belize. So everybody will message each other, like Rachel's messaged me right here. She's going to help me build this page like we did last year. But literally, when I am ready to go to dinner, I'm like, okay, guys, I'll meet you downstairs in 5 minutes. All I do is message the entire group. So literally, this is how we're going to be communicating like the entire time we're down there. Okay? So I want everybody to be a part of this. Yes. Like I said, I'll be inviting you to do that here soon. All right, you guys, this is Carl. He's going to be talking to you guys about your IDI results.
Yep.
Yes, so we kind of rolled out the IDI last time, and thank you very much for coming.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Plug my
Oh,
stuff in
sure,
here.
no problem. Okay.
You use Scott and
Yes.
You must use what version of things?
Yep.
I can probably make this work.
Okay, or kind of expand on that. I know when I first started going down to Belize, one thing that really I think caused me a lot of anxiety at first was I've been on 3 boats that have broken down. I've been on 2 vans and a bus with a flat tire, and I've only been down there twice. Okay, so that's just one thing. At first, I was a little concerned about it, especially because I have to think about the safety of my students. But then I realized that Belizeans, they don't have the resources that we do in the United States, but they're very good at fixing things on the fly. I mean, very knowledgeable about on the fly being able to get down into the motor of the boat and fixing it within 5 minutes or so, coming back up and saying, okay, it's good to go, or fixing a flat tire within 20 minutes. Very resourceful, but it's something that I had to get used to. Now if we have a broken down van, okay, everybody get out of the van for a little while. It's going to be another 10 minutes or so, and they fix it fairly quickly. But again, I think it's more of something that I wasn't used to at first, because in the United States we always think, oh, it's about customer service and oh my gosh, the van broke down and this is the worst thing for a tour guide but then I realized this is something that happens quite often in Belize. So just some things to be aware of when we go down there.
Yeah, and I've experienced that often, and I agree with you. I am absolutely amazed at the
I know.
resourcefulness. Sometimes you say, there's no way this thing is ever going to choke to life again.
Right.
And boom, 5 minutes later, it's on
amazing.
the road, and you're going, what on earth?
It
They
is.
didn't have anything but a screwdriver, and this thing is running.
And we were on a larger boat, one of the dive boats that we took down there, and we were in the middle of nowhere, and it's just something that we got used to, and they would jump down into the engine, pull up the floor, the entire floor, fix it in 5 minutes, and then good to go. And, it's just...
And knowing that, of course, means that I can rely on the resourcefulness
Exactly.
rather than stressing out about it and saying this was terrible, look how crappy their boats are,
Right.
and why don't they, repair them before they go out.
Right.
Well, there is no such thing. The repair is constant and continual. It's a different set of practices.
Yes, exactly.
But it's a good example.
Yeah, thank you so much, Carl. All right, you guys, I hope that was helpful. That is something that I want you guys to really think about when we're down there. And like I said, during dinner, I want to be able to talk to you guys about your experiences and what struck you as different from your own lives. So with that, you guys, let me go through the fish identification. I want you guys to get really excited about some of the fish that you're going to see down there. Like I said, making flashcards is great. I'm going to send you this PDF so that you'll have it at least. It is in order that you see on your list there. And then I'm going to talk about cameras. For those divers that are here, I want to make sure that you guys are on your way. You've already lined up something for the pool work and your book work, and you're good to go. I also want to make sure everybody has their passports. And we're getting down to the wire. The very last meeting is going to be crucial. We're going to talk about packing lists. We're going to talk about not packing too much as well. Pack light. I don't want you to, bring down too much stuff. One of my first experiences taking students down, I had a student who is in vet school now, and she I'm sure is very aware that I always tell her story. She's like 90 pounds soaking wet, and she had 3 huge, 70-pound bags. We that she could not carry herself. So she had to rely on someone to always help her. And you can imagine through the sand to our hotel, it was impossible. So anyway, I love Jerry to death. In fact, she would know that I was talking about her. But pack light, you guys. Let's go through some of these things here. Let's see. Get back online. All right. Just don't hesitate to ask any questions. I'm going to open it up for questions here at the very end, too. All right. So you guys have this on your list. The first one that you guys see are the angelfish. And angelfish are very distinctive. This is very misleading. In fact, these angelfish are huge. They're like this big. They're beautiful, very distinctive fish. And this one is the French angelfish. So it actually has these yellow markings and a yellow circle around the eye, which is pretty much easy to identify. Gray angelfish look very similar. The gray angelfish are even bigger than the French angel. So you will be amazed when you actually see these fish. They are humongous. They're huge fish. One of my favorites, this is also an angelfish. You can actually see the body type is very similar, but it's called a rock beauty. And it has a yellow with a bluish appearance. Very distinctive as well, all of these angelfish. And then I think this is the most beautiful of all the angelfish. You guys will notice it right away. This is the queen angelfish. Again, huge fish. You can't miss it. They're usually in schools together around coral reef heads. All right. Anybody know what this one is? This is a barracuda. Okay, barracuda. You'll see them, both of the whole group, snorkelers and divers. They're a little ominous. They have big teeth. They will not attack you. They're not aggressive. So I want you guys to, you'll see them. They look scary, but they kind of, if I was here diving or snorkeling, they would be kind of at the clock right there, and they just hang out and they stare at you. That's why they're a little eerie. They just stare at you. They kind of watch you. If you move, they move, but they're okay. They're not going to hurt you. Barracuda. Four-eyed butterfly fish. Four-eyed. The reason why it's four eyes is because they actually have this distinctive marking on the back. And when you flip them on the other side, they have the eye, and then that's why they're called four-eyed butterfly fish. Butterfly fish, we'll learn when we're down there, are indicative of when there's more butterfly fish in the area, a large amount, it can be a sign that the coral reef is not as healthy as it should be. So we'll talk more about the butterfly fish when we're down there. This is the reef butterfly fish, another beautiful fish. These are about this big. They're not as large as the angelfish. One of my favorite, this is actually a juvenile damselfish. This is what's called a yellowfin damselfish. And the juvenile have these really bright blue spots here. They're gorgeous. Again, now these are tinier. You'll see a lot of these really colorful fish around coral reef, the coral reef heads that you'll see. There's brain coral, elkhorn coral, which is endangered, and staghorn. So you guys are going to learn the different types of coral too. But these are, I've noticed these more around some of the bigger brain coral that you'll see down there. Beautiful fish. Okay, I want you guys to kind of look at these fish when you're down there. These are what's called drumfish, and they're smaller. They're tiny. But this is what a juvenile looks like. It is so cool to find a juvenile drumfish. They're teeny. They're only about this big, but they have these long fins, long dorsal and ventral fins that they're like ribbons that come out. So when they're swimming, these ribbons kind of hang behind them. So I'll point it out if I see it. For divers, snorkelers can just kind of go up and say, there's a drumfish right there. But divers, there's some things that you guys, if you see your dive master do this, he's pointing out a drumfish. Okay, so there's signals underneath the water that he can tell you about. This is a fairy damselfish. Better make sure I haven't seen basslet. Sorry, fairy basslets. Tiny around the coral reef. This was a scrawled filefish. I think I had to find one because, let's see here. Nope. Oh, I was telling you about that. All right, nope. Oh, sorry, you guys. I'll find it. It's a scrawled filefish. Here's what a filefish looks like. The scrawled filefish looks very similar. It has this very kind of elongated mouth. The scrawled filefish has these iridescent blue markings all through this particular fish. It's really beautiful. These are larger fish, about this big, and they're really distinctive. All right. These are goatfish, and goatfish are a little bit harder. They're smaller fish that they're about this length. They have a yellow stripe that goes through them, but you'll notice this black dot. And I think the most distinctive thing about goatfish is that they have these beards. There's like two long projections that come from the mouth region. So you can't really see it. It's kind of tucked underneath this fish, but they're very distinctive. So this is the Nassau grouper, and this is probably one of the most protected fish for the Belizeans. Grouper was overfished for a long period of time. Groupers are huge fish. They're really big and very distinctive. This one has some very unusual markings that you'll see right away, be able to identify it right away. Up in Glover's Reef, we're going to be up in Gladden's Spit when we go to Silk Key. So we'll be in the area. You'll see plenty of Nassau groupers. But they have a breeding site that used to have like 7,000 of these Nassau groupers would go to this one particular site, and then within the month's period of time, they would breed. They're down to like 2,000 to 3,000 now. So they're overfished. A lot of times they have to have armed guards go out there to make sure that they're not fished during the breeding season. They literally go out there with guns to protect these groupers. So I know, it's crazy. The scarlet macaws are being poached. These Nassau groupers are being poached as well. So Belizeans really are trying very hard to protect a lot of these different species, but you can see that it's difficult. This is a tiger grouper, even larger than the Nassau grouper. There is another type of fish called a jewfish, and it is the largest of the groupers. And if you see one, I mean, I saw one last year while I was diving. It almost scared me. It was so large. It was like as big as, even larger than that table there. And it was hiding behind a rock. And I thought it was part of the rock. So just very cool fish to see. These are called hamlets. I had a dive master, or these were her favorite fish. You can actually see, this doesn't do it justice, but there's these blue iridescent markings behind the eye and along this side here, hamlet fish. And then the blue hamlet. These are another very distinctive fish called hogfish. So you'll see a lot of hogfish down there, and then Spanish hog. I know this is a lot right up front, but I'm just kind of giving you some pictures of some of the fish. Once you actually go through the cards, you'll see that it'll get easier and easier. They're very easy to identify. Okay, you guys know this one, right? These are a little out of order, but I'm going to show you a scorpion fish in a minute. The lionfish are actually very closely related to scorpion fish. And they're an invasive species. They're native to the Philippines. Supposedly, many years ago, I think probably 2005, it's thought that they were released in the waters close to Miami. And because they have no natural predator, they have just bred and just continued to increase in number. And they do eat a lot of those small coral fish that I was talking about. So they are creating havoc in the area. They are, on purpose, they're overfished. So you'll eat a lot of lionfish. The Belizeans are trying to get people to eat lionfish so that they will be overfished. And they're good eating, good whitefish, but don't approach one of these fish if you actually see it. They do have poisonous spines, if you guys didn't realize that. So each of these spines have a lot of poison associated with them. They're slow-moving fish that live underneath ledges. So if you're snorkeling or diving and you free dive, go down a little bit, and snorkelers can free dive. Just look underneath some rock formations and you'll see a lot of these fish. When I was down there, the first year I was down there, I only saw some that were about this big. Now they're huge. Now you can see that they're breeding. They really kind of are entrenched in the environment now. But again, they are an invasive species. This is the moray eel, green moray eel. They look super scary, you guys. You'll see, the whole group will see a lot of these. In the shallow water, they'll come out from underneath some of the coral reef formation. Divers, I've never had this happen before, but one of the last dives last year, I went like this with my fin because I was trying to kind of get away from it. Right? I saw him come out from one of the coral reefs, and I just kind of went backwards and flipped my fin at him, and he literally came out of his hole and chased me. I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that they were that aggressive. That's only happened once, but don't provoke them is what I'm saying. They're kind of ugly, mean-looking fish. This is a spotted moray eel. And crazy. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. There we go. Okay, so parrotfish. I love the parrotfish. This is a princess parrotfish. The next one is a rainbow. And then we have the stoplight parrotfish. Now, these used to be overfished, but this is actually a pretty cool story. Back in the 80s, there used to be these long, spiny urchins. You guys know urchins, right? There's a lot of them still in Belize. But these urchins, has anybody ever had like a tank, a marine tank, and had like marine fish in it? Yeah. Have you ever used snails or urchins to clean off the glass?
I never have, but I know you can.
Yeah. So the urchins you could literally see lived on the coral, and they would make like snail trails because they would eat the algae off the coral, right? So they actually really helped maintain the coral. They helped by eating a lot of the algae that could damage it. Back in the 80s, this is the weirdest story, there was some kind of virus or bacteria. I'll look into this again, but I think it was a virus that totally decimated the long spiny urchins, okay? Completely wiped them out. It wiped out, like I said, over 90% of the population. So those were the cleaners, right? It turns out that the parrotfish have taken over as the cleaners. They actually maintain the health of the coral by eating off the algae. You'll see them eat the algae and kind of poop out a lot of that algae, but really what they're doing is they're maintaining the health. They're actually doing a great job at doing that. They were overfished for a very long time until just recently, I would say 5 years ago. Scientists actually went, they had a fisherman convention over at Glover's Reef in Belize. And they said, look, we have discovered that it's the parrotfish that are maintaining the health of the coral. If you decimate that population, you're going to destroy the coral reef. Now remember, Belize is the second largest coral reef formation next to, right behind the Australian Great Barrier Reef. Okay, so it runs all the way down, from the upper Caribbean down to Honduras. Okay, so it's the second largest coral reef formation. And so this is the stoplight parrotfish. And the fishermen, once they heard that this was really helping with the coral reef formation, they said, okay, we're going to stop fishing for parrotfish. And they really have replenished. You'll see a lot of parrotfish down there. Now, this is also an example, these parrotfish, of what's called sexual dimorphism, where the males look completely different than the females. So this is what, I don't have a picture of the females actually. This is the male, but the females have a red head and brown scales. So they literally look like a completely different organism. Let me just look that up for you guys. Yep. Can you guys see that? So this is the female. Literally look completely different. So when you're down there and you're diving, you could see the males, and then there'll be a number of females next to it. But they're the same exact species. They just look completely different. Yeah, here's the male right here, and here's the females. All right, so those are the parrotfish. These little guys are probably about this big, and they are in huge schools. So these guys are called the sergeant majors. These are the sergeant majors, yeah, sorry. And they're very distinctive from the stripes here. These are the schoolmasters. So the schoolmasters are a type of snapper. And you'll learn how to recognize snapper. They actually have kind of a sloped forehead like that. You'll see them in big schools as well. This is related to the lionfish. This is the scorpionfish. I can guarantee you won't even notice this guy until the dive master or whoever's for the snorkelers, the leader, taking you around. He'll poke one of these guys and you won't even know that he's down there. He's completely kind of camouflaged with his environment. So they're pretty ugly looking fish, these scorpion fish. This is also a type of snapper. This is the yellow tail snapper. These guys are about this big. They're super cute. They're actually in the family called big eyes. They're called squirrelfish. Squirrelfish are super cute. You guys know tang. You guys have seen Dory, I'm sure. The blue tang. And then finally, these are the triggerfish. This is a type of triggerfish. You can tell because they have these very distinctive dorsal and ventral fins that kind of, they move like that. This is called a durgeon. This is the black durgeon. And they're really big. They will follow you when you're snorkeling or diving. The reason is these triggerfish love lionfish. So usually they've been, I'm not sure a good thing, but divers will spear a lionfish because they're trying to get rid of that population. And then it's the triggerfish that are usually right there to eat up the lionfish. So they'll follow divers and snorkelers around because they're waiting for a meal. They're waiting for some lionfish. This is a beautiful queen triggerfish. I love the triggerfish. They're probably one of my favorites. And they're pretty big fish. And then this is the ocean trigger. And they're huge. They're almost scary huge. I mean, they're like really big. Beautiful, beautiful fish. I've only seen one ocean fish while I was down there. I mainly see black durgeon and queen trigger, which are really fun to see. All right, so I know that's a lot of fish. I just wanted to give you a sampling of all the different fish. But I can guarantee you will see these everywhere, all of them. All of them you'll see on a regular basis. So it's good to know the names of the fish. And I think it's just more exciting if you jump into the water and you know a little something about those fish. So yeah.
So for the ID quiz, will we be given these exact same pictures?
Yeah, they pretty much are the exact same pictures. And because I don't always have my computer with me, I have the pictures like laminated. So I'll literally go, what's this fish? What's this fish? Okay, so that's kind of what it is. But there might be some differences.
Okay.
But I want you to be able to identify them.
I'll be the pessimist in the group. Are we going to see sharks down there?
You will see sharks. Yep. We're going to be talking about some physiology of freshwater marine fish and sharks. So they have some unique ways of how they regulate water and solute in their body. So we'll be talking about that, but you will see a lot of sharks. The main sharks that you'll see are nurse sharks are everywhere. Nurse sharks will not hurt you guys. Okay, so they are pretty docile. Now that doesn't mean go ahead and poke them or chase them. The Caribbean reef shark, which is the second most common that you'll see down there, those are a little bit more ominous. So I wouldn't say worry when you see them. They won't hurt you, but I wouldn't, again, go chasing them or provoking them in any way. Okay? So, yeah, you'll see both types, especially a lot of nurse sharks. In fact, we do go to one place, both snorkelers and divers. In fact, this is only a snorkeling site, so even the divers are going to be snorkeling in this area, where there's fishermen that are just throwing chum, and there is a large number of sharks. So you guys are going to be around those sharks. You're going to see that. You'll see eagle rays, eagle rays for sure. The spotted eagle rays will be in that area, and yellow rays, these yellow-finned rays. So they literally call it like a shark and ray area. So you'll experience that as well. That's where, do you know the picture where the turtle was coming up and I have the student with the camera? It was in that area. You can even see the fishermen in the back. They were just throwing chum into the water. So it's a pretty cool sight to see. You're guaranteed to see a lot of shark and rays. So, okay, so you guys will visit Silk Key and Laughing Bird Key, some of these beautiful islands, and you'll be participating in some of those programs that they have to help restore the coral reef. I talked to you guys about the crocodile eye shine program too, and then you'll learn a little something about SEA, which is the Southern Environmental Association. Pretty good? All right, so I think you guys are getting a better idea of what you can expect when you're down there. Like I say, safety is a big concern. I want to make sure that you guys buddy up. I just cannot believe this happens every semester, but we have 11 snorkelers and 11 divers split right down the middle. Even the guys split right down the middle. 2 divers, 2 snorkelers, which is great. It really makes our job a lot easier, okay? So do you guys know I'm sure you know your groups by now. But you know what? I'm going to go through and I want to just get everybody's name again so that I can remember everyone. So we'll start with you, Martina. What's that? Yeah, just names.
I'm Martina.
And you're in the early dive group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My name's Monica. I'm already dived.
You're a certified diver.
My name's Mary. I'm a snorkeler.
Snorkeler.
I'm Christina. I'm in the later diver group.
Certified diver.
Yes,
When you get, yeah, coming on May 20th. Yes.
Yeah, Joe, I will also be getting certified for that.
All right.
I'm Carrie, and I'm doing the early. Down there.
Yep.
I'm Maria, and I'm snorkeling. I'm Alicia, and I'm snorkeling. Claudia, and I'm snorkeling.
I'm Eric, and I'm in the early dive.
Okay.
I'm Ashland, and I'm in the early dive group. I'm Diana, I'm a snorkeler.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Bella, and I'm a snorkeler. I'm Hannah, and I'm going early dive.
All right.
I'm Brandon, and I will be snorkeling.
All right. And so we do have other people, which I cut off early on. 3 other people from Crookston and Morris that are going to. Okay, so do you guys want a little bit of information about cameras and GoPros as well. Okay, so some of the information that I have is more, and masks and snorkels as well. Okay, so how many of you guys need to get a mask already? Let's start with the mask and snorkel first. Okay, so I've been talking to Rachel Gansky, and there's a couple of different masks that you guys can invest in. There's Mares, which is M-A-R-E-S. Let me just pull up her email too. Okay. There's another type called Aqualung. You guys might see those as well. Rachel Gansky. And then she recommended one, here it is, masks. She said that Tilos is one that they recommend too, T-I-L-O-S. But Mark, who is the dive master that trained Rachel, actually wanted to make sure that you all were aware of the mask test, okay? So the way to make sure that you have a good mask, and we're talking snorkelers and divers, is that when you pick up a mask that you like and you put it on your face, without the strap, just suck in through your nose and make sure you can kind of move your face around. If it stays put, then it's a good mask for your face. Okay? So just put it on your face without the strap. Breathe in through your nose, create a suction, and then if you can move your face and the mask stays in place, that's a good sign that that's a good mask for you. Okay? I would recommend for those that are diving and are in the pool, just make sure when you get in the pool that there's no leakage. One thing that I want to say to especially the ladies that have long hair, because I actually go through this quite a lot. If you have a piece of hair, just even a piece of hair in your mask, it can disrupt the seal. So you might say, you might be given a mask or a rental down in Belize as well. I would recommend that you invest in a mask, but if you do rent one down there, a lot of students come up to me, like while we're snorkeling, and say, my mask isn't fitting properly, I can't get a good seal. If you actually swim up to somebody near you, just say, do I actually have hair that is, in my mask? So if you can say, yeah, you got a big piece of hair here, let me get it out. If you could just help each other out, that is something that happens often. Doesn't mean the mask isn't working or it's not a good mask. It's just that you have hair or something inside. Okay? So try to invest in a good mask. Rachel also said that they are between about $60 to $88, and those are good masks. You don't have to invest in one that's $150. Yeah.
It looks like those are available at Mark's.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So this is Midwest diving.
Okay.
Yep. Midwest diving. With snorkels, don't buy a high-end snorkel. I'm just telling you, you don't need a high-end snorkel. Just a tube, basically, for $12 is just fine. A lot of them they'll advertise that you can't get water in. I just find that they're super bulky and that they have to attach to your mask, and they just are more cumbersome than anything else. Tube is just fine, long tube. So I'm not so worried about the snorkel. Okay, so with the cameras, let's start off with some underwater cameras. I was actually looking at some reviews. I bought a Nikon underwater camera a while back that stopped working on me. So one thing that I want to make sure you guys have information about is, here's some dive gear. When you're looking for an underwater camera, if you want to invest in one, they're not all the same. Most of them don't go below 50 feet. Okay, so especially for the divers. I can guarantee you we're going to go below 50 feet. We'll probably go to more like 60, 70 feet. You don't want to buy a high-end camera worth $300 and then it doesn't work properly at 70 feet. So this one, Sea Life, is a really good one. I actually looked it up on Sport Diver. This one will go to 200 feet. Okay. The only thing, the con with this one, this is called Sea Life or Sea Life. The only thing with this one is that the shutter speed is actually pretty slow. So when you actually take the picture, you have to hold it in place for a longer period of time, okay? But other than that, it's actually a really good one. There's an Olympian one as well. Let's see. But let's see here. Sea life. I'm going to talk about the GoPro in just a second and some of the features. Nikons aren't so bad. The Olympian is not too bad either. Olympia, sorry. Oh, shoot. I'm going to look that up in just a second, but I would recommend this Sea Life is probably the best one. Who's actually going to be bringing a GoPro down? Okay. For the GoPro, you probably need to invest in the housing. A red filter. Have you guys seen that before? The red filter is actually going to be really important. What you'll notice is when you take pictures underwater, you don't really have any red. It's all going to be washed out and look just green or blue. So you need the red filter to make it look like you're taking a picture up here on Earth, or up above the water. It'll give you the proper color. Okay. So the red filter is really cool. You can actually see with a lot of these housing, you've got these flip features, these red filters that fit right on it. Let's see here. So the housing, oh, this is one thing too that I thought was cool. I actually had a student 2 years ago bring housing for an iPhone 6. So you can actually clip this in. The iPhone actually clips right in. So your iPhone's in the back there. And it actually took really good pictures, you guys. I was pretty amazed. So, let's see here. Okay, so here's the flip filters. You can actually just flip it down on the housing. It fits right on the housing, and you can flip it up or flip it right down, and it takes really good pictures. Okay, for any camera, underwater camera or GoPro, one of the things that you have to buy, I'm just going to say it right now, is a handle or some kind of flotation device that if you drop your camera, it doesn't go straight to the bottom. Your dive master, I can't guarantee that he would go down 100 and 120 feet to collect your camera if you drop it. Okay, so with this device, if you dropped it or if you had a string and then you just said like, oh my gosh, where's my camera? The camera will float to the top every time. GoPros actually have a handle that has a flotation device on the handle. So if you accidentally drop it or somebody bumps you and it's gone, it will float up to the top. Much easier to retrieve than if it falls to the bottom, okay? We have had people at the mangroves lose their mask, and in the mangroves, it's a little bit murky. So if you actually lose your mask, it will go into the leaf, the litter, basically, and we never recovered it, okay? So it's much harder to find. Again, you can, for your mask, get these bands that you can put in the back so that if you lose it, it actually does kind of float to the top too. You know what I mean? So some things as I'm thinking about. Yeah, here's the multiple filters with the GoPro too. I would say the GoPros are great. I would think about the handle. There's a handle that will float, or some people have used that, like the head, right? The headgear, which is fun too. But I would invest in those devices for sure. Do you guys have any questions too? Here's some waterproof camera floats that I would recommend. Okay. So I did actually attend a class once on some of these types of cameras and the best pictures to take underneath. I would leave it at a 1080p. They said don't ever change that particular setting. If you switch it down so that the resolution is not as great, like 760 I think is the next one, it's better to take a high resolution picture and then alter it later. You can alter the picture on your computer later. But take the highest resolution, 1080p is the one setting that I would say is the most important. Make sure that you have the red filter. Here it is. This is for the video, 1080p video. Keep it on that setting. And then make sure you have the red filter. This is for the GoPro that just flips down. So it's really up to you guys on what other features that you want, but I think I kind of covered the most important stuff. Okay, the flotation devices, the red filter, and the depth. Make sure you don't buy a high-end camera that doesn't go below 50 feet. Okay. Any other questions, you guys? Everybody has their passports? Thinking about packing? I think we're going to get out about 15 minutes early. Vaccinations, you guys, there's no vaccinations that are required. Some people that I have talked to did elect to take the malaria medication. I'm not going to do that, but I want to make sure that you guys are thinking about these things. We're only about a month out now. So, any pressing questions, you guys? Yes.
I guess recommended amount. I guess you said don't bring too much.
Right.
What is
Okay.
recommended?
That's a great question. So remember, anything you buy, even these high-end cameras, you are taking down at your own risk. Okay. I've never had anybody's camera stolen. I mean, I've been going. This is my third year going. I take a computer, a camera that will go underwater, and I would recommend, instead of a computer, maybe an iPad that will connect to the internet. That's a little bit less bulky. It doesn't work, obviously, if you're not in a place that you can receive Wi-Fi, but it's a little bit easier to manage. Okay, so instead of like a MacBook Pro getting stolen, that's a $2,000 computer, you're bringing down $500 iPad. I just recommend the iPads. You can actually do your presentation, or look up your fish, your invertebrate fish, and get all the information from that. So you do have some here. I would recommend bringing a credit card at least, putting it in somewhere different place than maybe your purse where you have other, your debit card or something. If you have two places, if your purse got stolen, you would still have a credit card in your suitcase or something. So important to kind of put things in different places, I would say. And don't overpack. You will have access to washing machines. So I don't want you to bring 21 different clothing items because you don't think you're going to do any laundry. I would just say pack a week's worth and you'll be able to do laundry once a week. Okay, so, and that just, don't bring anything like sweatshirts, a number of sweatshirts. You're not going to wear sweatshirts down there. I made that mistake the first year. I had all these sweatshirts. I don't know why, and I never wore one of them. So I would say 5 to 6 t-shirts, 5 to 6 pairs of shorts. Ladies, maybe 1 or 2 sundresses. You do need to have some beach shoes, and then hiking boots. Okay, we're going to talk more about the packing list the last day. But please, just think about this. Don't overpack. I would say if you could have a backpack and 1 small bag. Because whatever you take, you have to carry. You have to carry that across the beach to our beach house or into the jungle, right? It just is a lot easier if you don't pack as much stuff. like I said, I'm a walking pharmacy, so I will have all the medication that you would need. I mean, I carry like everything for students. So Tylenol, stomach medication, allergy medication, you know, you name it. I'm sure I'll have it. But if you have some specific prescription medication that you need, it's always a good idea to bring the prescription with you. You might be able, you might be able to get something like that. Justin he's not going to be able to get antibiotics for you, but he knows the pharmacist in San Ignacio, and she might say, oh, this is the closest thing we have, or not. But we've also been told if you were stopped at the border and they wanted, they were worried about something that you had, if you had the prescription, then that's something that would be good information to have. What else? Raincoats. Highly recommend a raincoat. Packable that you could just roll up. You do have to have one long pair of pants. Some students actually brought scrubs because it was lightweight. I recommend those, are they part nylon that sometimes you can even zip off? If they're lightweight, just one pair. You don't have to have a whole bunch of them, but you do have to have one pair of long pants when you go hiking in the jungle, along with some hiking boots. Maybe a pair of tennis shoes and flip-flops. So I wouldn't bring too many pairs of shoes, but that would be good. What else? Like I said, we'll have a headlamp. If you guys do have a headlamp, if you have camping gear, not everybody needs it, but just one person in a group when you're caving in the jungle, that's really helpful. Especially if you decide to kind of crawl through, there's one place that I was telling you about, if you decide to crawl down that tunnel to the opening that has bones in it, the headlamp is almost essential to get through that area. But that's always handy to have. Or just one of those small little $9, flashlights that are just about this big. Those are great too. Anybody think of anything else? Yeah.
What about like bath towels and stuff?
I would bring one bath towel. Doesn't have to be a big one. You can buy lots of beach towels when you're down there, so you could wait and do that too. But it's always nice to have your own, especially in the jungle. Yeah, that's a good point. I would also say, especially in the jungle, that you might want to bring a small thing of soap. We were in a hotel on the beach in Placencia last year. This year we're going to be in a house. So you could snag some of those tiny little soaps and bring them into the jungle, but we won't have access to that this time. If you don't want to bring a lot of soap down, there's great pharmacy stores down there. Okay. The only thing is they're a little bit more expensive. But I'm talking like instead of $2, they're like $3.50. So they're not too much more, but you could buy soap and stuff down there too. Yeah. Sunscreen. Don't forget sunscreen, you guys. You can buy sunscreen down there, but the sun is intense. And I told you guys, last year we had a student that really burned the back of her shin, or her legs, her calves. And we were literally changing bandages in the jungle. And I worried about infection. So don't forget sunscreen or bug spray. Okay? Those are the two most important things, I think. The coast isn't too bad. You won't see a lot of bugs on the coast. But you will see a lot of bugs in the jungle and in San Ignacio. But, if you have sunscreen on, it's not a problem. So, yeah, the problem was the first year I went down there, we were on an island called Glover's, and they had a pond in the middle of the island with just bred mosquitoes. It was just one huge mosquito fest, basically. And if you tried to hike into the middle of that island, there were so many swarms of mosquitoes, they would literally chase you out. So that was a little crazy, but I've never seen that kind of mosquito infestation inland or in Placencia. So you don't have to worry about it this year. So, what else? Yes.
Specifically with hiking boots,
Yep.
what are we looking for?
With hiking boots, I would recommend up around the ankles. Okay, so I don't think they need to be super heavy. I've seen more sneaker-like hiking boots that just as long as they're kind of up around the ankles, that's the main thing. When we're hiking in the jungle, I just worry more about little critters or snakes or something that they'll hook on your boots before they would chomp on your ankle. So that's the only time that I really wanted you guys to have hiking boots and long pants, is when you're in the jungle, when you're in the Chickasaw Forest, because we'll be doing a lot of hiking there. Yeah, you won't need it really too much. You know, you might want to use it when we're hiking in the Mayan ruins or during some of the bird watching. We're not hunting birds, sorry. Bird watching. Yeah, so that'll be helpful. But it's just mainly in the Chicago forest. And then I said raincoat already. Don't forget to bring a raincoat. Because when it rains, it really rains. So one time when we were coming back from a trip, you can imagine being on a dinghy with, only holds about 12 people. And when it started to rain and we were going like 50 miles an hour on this little dinghy, it was hard rain. It was like pelting us, so it was just nice to have a hood to be able to, at least get out of the rain a little bit. Yeah. So. And the rain is welcome too, because we're right there on the cusp of the dry season and the wet season. And so I actually really welcome the rain when it comes. It just cools everything down. It's really nice. So it's going to be hot when we're down there, you guys. So I would just say sleeveless shirts and shorts and flip-flops that's what you're going to wear the majority of the time. So, and you get used to it pretty quickly. I know it's a good adjustment those first couple of days, but after that, everybody gets used to it. So, any other questions, you guys? Okay, so the next meeting is really crucial. We'll be talking about last-minute effects. Okay, I'll go into way more detail on the packing list. I don't want you guys. I was thinking I was going to give you guys the fish ID quiz on the last meeting before we left for Belize, but I was talking to another student, and I think, with finals and everything, and your family coming in if you're graduating, I'm going to wait till we get to Belize. That's going to be one of our lectures when we get down there. We'll talk more about. I just kind of gave you like identification, but I'll talk more about fish when we're down there, and we'll get into more detail on physiology and behavior. So I think I'm going to wait for the fish ID until we get down to it. So don't worry about that. I think we're just going to I'm going to answer last-minute questions on logistics, where we're going to meet, what are some of the emergency health things that you need to know while we're down there. I want to make sure that everybody's kind of buddying up, what to expect. We'll just talk more about the logistics of what we're going to do when we get down there, okay? Where we're going to meet in certain emergency situations on the coast and in San Ignacio. We've got Justin. I think you guys met Justin Ford. Some of you guys did. He got his master's in emergency planning at Harvard University, something crazy like that. So we have a plan for literally everything. If there's a terrorist or a hurricane, or we have like a plan for everything. And we'll talk more about like some of those things. Okay. I also want. One thing before you guys go. Sorry. Cell phone plans. I did get a couple of emails about cell phone plans. I wouldn't recommend going to AT&T and getting the international cell phone plans. First of all, for 3 weeks, it's super expensive. It's like $400 or $400 for me to do that. try to talk to your parents, get them set up if they're not set up on like FaceTime, Facebook, so that you can FaceTime audio them. It's free, or the WhatsApp, or there's a number of other apps. I would try to make sure that they can communicate with you through that mechanism first before actually investing in a cell phone plan. Yes.
I don't know if I know the Samsungs do this, but they also have like Wi-Fi calling.
Oh, nice.
Just over the regular phone. I don't know
Okay.
if that iPhones do that. But I think
we
this
can.
would be something similar.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to that. It's like FaceTime audio, and so if somebody else has an iPhone, they can communicate through that way too. Yeah, and then that's free. However, that you have to be somewhere where there's internet. That's the only problem with all of this. You have to be there. You have to be somewhere where there's Wi-Fi. If you feel like you have to be able to communicate with your family or friends without the Wi-Fi, then you can maybe think about the cell phone plans, the international plans. From my experience, it's just a small fee to get on the international plan itself. But after talking to someone for a half an hour, and it was $450, I can just tell you, it's even on the plan, it can be very expensive. So be careful about those international call plans. Okay, but just to have it sometimes makes people feel pretty comfortable. All right, you guys all good with that? All right. Let me know if you have any more questions.
And I was thinking, well, maybe if I had free time, I could.
Yeah.
And it was close enough. I
Oh
could
my gosh,
just
yeah.
go visit.
Yeah.
But I don't think they do formal tours, and so I have to like contact them if I want to do that.
Okay. So let's see here. The Belize Raptor Center. Yeah. Oh, it's in San Ignacio. So yeah, we could definitely do this.
Yeah, I think they do like programs, but it doesn't look like they have anything on site. At least when I looked.
Okay.
Like a month or two ago.
So it's a group basically that
they have like a facility where they do. I think it's raptor rehabilitation. Basically,
okay.
I think it's similar to what we have here, but whereas like here on the Twin Cities Raptor Center, you can go and visit and like see things. There, it doesn't seem like they have formal tours. They do programs and stuff though, where they like come to you.
Okay, so Isabel has actually liked this page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Isabel is aware of this. We'll ask about it.
Yeah.
And maybe she'll want to, feature it. Where we're going is the Belize Bird Sanctuary.
Okay.
And let me just make sure that this isn't the same thing. The Belize Bird Rescue. It's kind of slow. But it doesn't. Oh, here we go. Okay, so yeah, they're actually helping people that. So we'll go through, and they do raptors.
Yeah.
But it's a little different organization. But I'll ask Isabel about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're aware of it, and is the Minnesota Raptor Center actually?
As far as I know, there aren't any contacts at the Belize Raptor Center directly through the staff that I talked to. Although our education director, Gail Buell, might have some contacts. Okay. Potentially, I could ask her. I think she's there this weekend.
Well, it looks like Isabel is aware of their organization. So I'll ask Justin about it. He'll probably say, oh yeah, I know those people, and that, maybe we can do something with them. Yeah.
It just seemed like it was,
Definitely. And I know that there's certain individuals that do give us tours, specifically in some of the Mayan ruins.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they're from the Raptor Center, and I didn't even know it.
Okay.
Yeah, so, Justin may say something like, oh, yeah, this tour guide is from the Raptor Center.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll talk to Justin and ask about that. Yeah, thank you. Hi. Oh, did you go ahead? I have to talk to Ashlyn about a project that she's doing real quick.
I just have one question.
Sure.
So, I was wondering if you would like recommend a suitcase or like a hiking backpack.
I would say I have both, and I'm bringing both.
Okay.
I would say it's a smaller suitcase.
Yeah, like a carry-on, like a little one.
Yes, because you can't go above 50 pounds. I can't stress that enough. Yeah. So my suitcase is probably like this big.
Right. Yeah.
And I know. It is amazing. It is really hard.
Like even with boots and stuff.
I know.
Well, you just wear your boots on the plane.
And the other thing is roll. Don't
I do
fold.
that.
Okay, so roll
But
everything.
I'm the queen of overpacking.
I know.
Like I'll be like, oh, I probably will need that.
I
even
almost
though
never
I don't.
bring enough.
I know.
I almost like bring.
So I need to
too
pack
little.
with you then.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Like when I went to Ireland, I went with this backpack
Yep.
and that little suitcase, and I was there for 6 months.
Good for
Yeah.
you. See, that's what I'm talking about.
I had to buy a bag so I could bring stuff back.
Yeah,
Of course,
yeah.
box stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
I would say t-shirts, don't bring more than 6 t-shirts, and you can roll those pretty easily.
Yeah.
So like,
And
what
shorts.
about like casual clothes? Because I don't look like a bum
Sundresses.
the whole time.
Sundresses.
2 sundresses.
2 sundresses. Don't bring more than 2 sundresses.
So when you say like shorts, are you talking like athletic?
Yeah. I'm talking about shorts that are just.
Not like
I have
t-shirts.
I have 2 pair that are here, and like 2 pair that are here, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I brought like 3 pairs of jeans the first time. Just thinking, they'll be like rainy days or colder days. Never wore jeans. In fact, the thought of putting on jeans down there makes me like cringe. Yeah, you won't wear jeans for sure.
Okay.
And then just 1 pair of long pants that are lightweight.
Yeah, I need to go buy some because all I wear scrubs.
Yeah, I did have a student that brought scrubs down. Yeah, so, and that did work well for her.
Okay.
But I would say the nicer, I don't know what that's called, the lightweight material.
I know what
that's
you're talking
waterproof,
about.
right? Yeah, that's waterproof.
It's called zip-off pants.
Yeah,
I don't know, like, that's all I can
right.
describe them as.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those zip off.
But like you go to like REI or Columbia,
Yes,
probably have
yeah.
them, or Amazon, the best place ever.
Yeah.
And they won't get dirty. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
So we're going to be caving, and a lot of students are like, "Oh, I got a spot on I can't wear these anymore." I'm like, "You can still wear them. We are not going to judge. We're not going to judge." Yeah. So
I'll let you talk about
all
your
right.
project. See ya.
see ya. Bye now.
Okay, I do have a question.
Yes.
Is this isn't supposed to be
Because
because we're already in San Ignacio.
Okay. You're in
So,
San Ignacio,
this
and
is-
then you'll depart from
No.
Placencia.
But this is after we've already departed from Placencia to San Ignacio because I start in Placencia.
Yes. So here's the deal. So this would be you here, group 2. This is group 1. Is that not making sense, or that's not?
I
the
was
way
just
it
looking
should
at this because okay, so I start here
be? Yep. You're
and
group,
then we switch.
yeah. So you're group 1.
Yeah.
And then you'll be in San Ignacio.
Yeah.
Okay.
But here on June 2nd, so we've already been there.
Yeah.
It says we go back.
Oh no. Yeah. No,
That's
no.
this
This
is
should
my
be-
birthday, so I'm like, oh, what am I going to be doing on my birthday?
Yeah. Okay. So this should not be Placencia. This should be Chicapul.
But then it says this.
Oh wait.
So is this when we meet together and then
Yeah.
so then we have our free day and then we leave?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So in fact, this may be switched this time too. Let's see. Let me make sure it's an even split. The days that you have in Placencia are about the same. So 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 7 days. Then on the 27th, we switch.
Mhm.
And then you have 20, 29, 30, 31, 32. I'm sorry, 1, 2. That's only 5 days. And then we switch on the 3rd. So,
And the Chickabool is when we're like completely off the grid, right?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're completely off the grid. So you're right. I think that is a typo. Darn it. And your birthday's June 2nd?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so Friday, group 1 is already, that should be there.
Okay.
No, so you guys will stay in Placentia.
And then do parasitology.
Or I'm sorry, you stay and you do parasitology,
Okay.
Yeah, that's weird. Let me just, I'll make that correction. So, I'm just going to take that out. That shouldn't be there. Okay. If this is your copy, I'll make mine a copy. Okay, so, so this should probably say something like depart for the EWRC.
So is that in San Ignacio?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
it's right outside San Ignacio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think it's like a 15-20 minute drive.
So is this supposed to be up here at 8?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. Not Placentia. I'm not sure where you're actually doing the parasitology actually. This might be in San Ignacio.
Okay. And then we go after.
Yeah, and then you go after, and then you actually, what you're actually doing is you're collecting fecal samples from a lot of different animals, and then you do the parasitology lab. Okay. So you actually, people that aren't do that sometimes are a little squeamish.
Yeah.
But it's actually really pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, I run fecal samples like every day, so it's
Oh.
like.
So you know what they do. Yeah, exactly. So that's, and you can talk to Justin too, since you do that all the time.
Yeah.
But that's what they're doing. And then we go into the chicken after the free day. So I am a little suspicious. I think that you guys will still be in San Ignacio. And then the free day, the free day should be, June 3rd when everybody's together. Sure. And then, no, that's right. And then we'll be in the Chickapool until the 6th. We leave on the Yeah. Hi, how's it going?
Good. I was just wondering what was going on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So let's see.
4 days.
Yeah, 4 days. Yes, 4 days. And then we leave on Thursday. Okay. Oh, wait. Sorry.
There you go.
I'm like, what?
So it's good.
Placentia. Yeah, so the only thing is I think we leave on Wednesday.
Okay.
Because we have to get from the Chickapool to the Fox Club, and this is when we leave for Guatemala.
Oh,
Right?
yes.
So we're not going directly from the Chickapool. Yeah, I've got to look at this a little bit more closely. So we will be leaving on the Wednesday night.
Okay.
Yeah, dinner on your own San Ignacio.
Okay, so we go
Yeah.
back to San Ignacio.
Yep, and then
Okay.
we go to Guatemala on Thursday, and then it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We come back on Saturday, and then we depart for the airport on Sunday. Yeah, there's still. I better look through this more closely because here we'll be back in San Ignacio. We do have breakfast at Hotel de Catan, but then we will be back at the Fox Club and Walk Cabins.
Okay.
Or here's some other facilities that we might be taking advantage of.
Okay.
But we'll be back in San Ignacio and then we leave the next day for the airport.
Okay.
And we leave at noon.
Oh, that's not bad.
No. Yeah. So we have to drive about 2.5, 3 hours back to the airport from San Ignacio.
Okay.
And then we get on the plane at noon. Yeah, it'll go fast. It's a lot.
Glad I have those extra 5 days.
Yeah.
That'll be nice.
Yes. So think about that. I think that Martina was asking me, what are you going to do the whole 5 days? I mean, that's going to be like nice, relaxing 5 days. You're going to just be eating and diving, basically, which is nice. And then you guys will get used to the area, and when the rest of the divers come down, you can tell us.
So are you going to be with us?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be with the snorkelers?
No, I'll be with you guys.
So do you come down on the 20th and meet us? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So it's me, Christina. I think it was Joe.
And Eric.
Eric is
coming
going
with me. Yeah.
Right. So Joe, Eric, and Monica. No, not Eric. Christina, Joe, and Monica that was here.
Is Christina the curly hair?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's going with you. No, she's
No.
certified. She'll be certified. Yeah, so Christina, Joe, and Monica's already certified.
Okay.
So there'll be only about 4 or 5 of us that are going to come down and meet you guys.
Okay.
There's 7 of you guys. Is that correct? And then
That
there'll be
sounds
5 coming down. And
And Rachel's coming with us.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then does she go to San Ignacio?
Mhm.
Oh.
Okay, so then what happens is I come down with you with the 5 certified divers, and then all the divers are in Placencia. That same van takes Rachel all the way back to San Ignacio, which is a 3-hour drive when we get there. So yeah, Rachel Johnson did this, so she gets to San Ignacio around 9 at night.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I gotta make sure that she's aware of that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she starts the next day with the snorkelers in San Ignacio. So
Okay.
she's,
Yeah.
yeah. So she's in vet school. She's a
Yeah.
first year vet student, and she's specializing in wildlife medicine.
Yeah, I want to talk to her.
Yeah.
Because I've always been super interested. This trip is kind of like
Yeah.
my figuring out my lifetime.
And also, yeah, Chris, I want to get you guys set up.
Yeah.
So he was so excited. Oh my gosh, I could see a light bulb just literally went on in his head. And he's like, this is fantastic. Because he hasn't figured out the software yet.
Okay.
So he wants you to do the legwork
Uh-huh.
in generating, he'll give you some ideas. I mean, he'll help you through it.
Yeah.
But generating data, just like fake data, and putting it through the software so he knows that it's running properly.
Right.
So that when we actually do get real data, that it can just easily be plugged into what you've already established. So, you'll still help us manipulate all the data, but he has an idea of what software he wants you to start off with, but I don't pretend to know everything.
Yeah.
He has everything already in his head as to how he's going to get you started.
Okay.
So, but he thinks, yeah, this is fantastic. This will really help everybody, actually.
Cool.
So, yeah, thank you for suggesting that. I know. It's the analysis part that's the really cool part.
I know, I'm so excited.
And there's a lot of papers out there. If you actually got started, if you wanted to. Do you want a pizza too? I should have told people to take the pizzas.
No, I have to take the bus home, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this one's on. That's good. So, yeah, that's going to be cool, actually.
Yeah, it worked out really nicely.
Yeah.
Oh, I also wanted to ask, I mean, I could probably ask this at the next meeting, but how much money would you say we should bring?
I always say $300.
Okay, see, I was thinking more than that, so that's...
Yeah, well, I'm going to say a lot of students run out of money. So, and then it's a problem because, they're like, oh, I was going to buy, we have 3 more meals we have to buy in San Ignacio. So I need to lay out pretty carefully what meals you'll need to buy. And remember, meals are really cheap too, so it's not. When you're in Placencia, all your meals are paid for. So the cooks are going to be cooking lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you want to go out that night, like you want to go to the bars or restaurants or whatever, that's all on your own. Right. Then when you get to San Ignacio, breakfast and lunch are paid for. Okay. But dinners usually are everybody big group going to different places. And then you're paying for a lot of those. Unless we have a welcome dinner or some formal dinner. So you can expect to pay for about 5 to 6 dinners in San Ignacio. Chicken of course, everything's paid for again. In Guatemala, those 3 days, there are 2 dinners that are paid for, but then 1 is on your own because it's a free day. And you guys usually, there's a lot of nightlife there. You guys usually split up and go on your own. So I'm thinking 6 meals, just dinners. It's not bad. But I still had people that, they bought a lot of souvenirs.
I'm sure going on doesn't help either.
Right. And then you get to the end of the trip trip and you're like, I don't have any money for dinner.
Right.
And I was buying dinners only because I don't want you guys to starve,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean? So I just want to make sure 300 sometimes isn't enough. So I would say $300 cash and a credit card if you run over. If you don't have a credit card, maybe a little bit extra because you're going to be buying souvenirs for your family and stuff like that.
Do you suggest cash over a debit card? Because I don't have a credit card, so.
Okay, so the Belizeans will take U.S. cash, no problem.
Okay.
And debit credit cards.
Okay.
Yeah. So you won't have any trouble getting around.
Okay.
You don't need to bring cash, actually. If you just have a debit card, that's fine too. They take, even small street vendors take credit card. Or debit cards.
Yeah.
So, I would say, like I said though, make sure you have a stash in your suitcase and a stash in your purse. Because if something is stolen, at least you're not completely wiped out. So it's always good to think ahead. Like I said though, nobody's ever stolen anything.
Right.
So I'm not worried about that.
And I know you say to keep our passports and our, how are they called? Yeah.
Yeah.
At all times. So do you suggest just buying like a little wallet? Like.
Yeah. In fact, did you get a passport card?
I didn't.
No. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. I would say a little wallet is good.
Okay.
Yeah, and keep it in your purse.
Okay. My passport came in 2 weeks.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know. I was
oh
like,
my gosh.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was
that's
prepared
great.
when it came anyways, but like.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That doesn't always happen.
I know.
They say to plan 6 weeks in advance. So, yeah. Yeah, crazy. It's gonna come up really fast.
It already has.
I know. But it's so nice to get on the plane and just, I know it's like fast and furious right now, and everybody's stressed because of midterms and finals coming up. But the next meeting will be a little bit different. Classes are going to be over. Everybody's going to be looking forward to getting out of town. And,
I have so much shopping to do.
Oh.
I really want to just go and buy some like athletic swimsuits.
Yeah.
Because right now mine are just like chill on the boat swimsuits and not
Yeah.
very reliable. So.
Well, and the other thing too is it actually gets a little chilly when you get out of the water on the boat. Yeah, because sometimes if there's a wind, it'll be hot, but
Yeah.
it gets kind of chilly. I mean, I remember being in the boat, with towels around us. I like rash guards, the long sleeve rash guards. They're pretty useful. So, even when it was really hot, a lot of times I'd wear that rash guard and just get in the water all the time, and that kind of helps you stay cool.
Yeah, I'm generally a cold person.
Okay.
And I'm doing my homework right now for being certified.
Okay.
If you get cold while diving, you need to surface. I'm always cold. So I need to talk to Mark about that because I need to know like when it's actually concerning.
Yep.
Because
So I've had an experience with that before. I happened to go on a dive trip in Playa del Carmen, and I just showed up at a dive shop. I was all by myself, and I just said I want to go diving, and he's like, "Oh, well, I don't have anybody, but I'll just take you. Just you and I can go."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Awesome." Yeah. So, but because of that, and I didn't use a lot of air.
Okay.
I can probably stay down for a good 2 hours before I run out of air. And even then, I still had a quarter of a tank left. But the problem is when you're down for so long, I knew I was like shaking a little bit. I was like, it was a good 2 hours. I was just following this guy who was showing me all kinds of stuff on the surface or on the bottom, and I was starting to go like this, and I couldn't even stop shaking at that point. And he was like, "Underwater, are you cold?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Well, we should probably go up." And so I got up to the top, and it was 95 degrees on the surface. And I was still shaking all the way back to the shop. But then when I got sweating, and I've never been bathing before. But because I had been so cold and then so hot, just for a minute, I just like I think I like kind of fell back and then caught myself on the wall. Didn't faint completely, but then get super nauseous. And so I was like, okay, first of all, I probably pushed it.
Right.
Yeah, I
That's
was.
a long time.
Yeah, and I probably had a little bit of hypothermia because I was uncontrollably shaking. And they say that in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you're uncontrollably shaking, then you're probably hypothermic. And then walking back to the shop in such heat that vasodilation really probably just wasn't getting any blood to my head. So I wouldn't recommend it. I would just, we're never down. I'll be honest, we're not going to ever be down for that long.
Okay.
Because we have so many new divers. Usually they go through their air pretty quick. And so I'm talking, we're never down more than 40 to 50 minutes.
Okay.
Not too bad. And if you have, do you have a wetsuit? Full wetsuit. Okay. Are you going to rent one when you're down there?
Probably.
Yeah. I've dove down there with just shorts and a t-shirt.
Okay.
Yeah. But with a wetsuit, you shouldn't have any problem. And in Belize, it's like bathwater.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not.
So I mean, if I'm moving enough, I should be fine.
You will be fine.
Yeah.
But if you, I get cold too, but I've never.
So you generally don't use wetsuits there?
When I was in Glover's, I didn't all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. But you will use a wetsuit when you're with Patty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's a legit dive shop.
Yeah.
When we were at Glover's, we were not at a legit diving place. So we had kind of shady equipment. Luckily, Rachel Dansky she's amazing.
Yeah.
She's great. And so diving with her was like awesome. She's a pleasure to dive with. She's such a good diver. So I didn't worry with a lot of my divers that first year because they were all, I had one, I shouldn't tell you all these stories, but Lindsay Wilfong, her father was a doctor.
Okay.
And she came down with the most beautiful equipment. She had like the newest fins and the newest dive, like, everything was, I was like, wow, that is nice stuff. That is really nice stuff. And so I had Rachel Gansky and Lindsay Wilfong that were like pros in the water. And I'm not even that good of a diver. I love diving, but I was just following them around because their buoyancy. Oh, Lindsay underwater could just and you know how you establish
I've
buoyancy.
seen that in the videos, but I haven't.
And then she had the dive watch, computer dive watch too, and she could just sit at 15 feet, waiting for that 3-minute stop. I'm still kind of going. I have to like push myself down and kind of float, and then I go too low, and then I have to come up again. I mean, literally, Lindsay was just like for 3 minutes, just watching her watch, never moving. I mean, she had her legs crossed like this.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh! I don't know how. They were good divers.
Yeah.
They were amazing. So we were not at a dive shop, and we were getting sketchy. Sometimes the regulators didn't work properly, and that was one of the reasons why I didn't want to go back to Rovers. It was beautiful. I loved it. It was great diving, but I needed the students to be at a legit dive shop, dive masters.
I would prefer that too.
Yeah. Seriously, yeah. So Patty's amazing. She's gonna be like your second mom. When you meet her, she's so awesome. Yeah, she'll tell you too. I'm your second mom down here. If you need anything, she'll help.
Do I not need to worry about fins then?
Don't bring fins.
Okay.
I should have made that clear, but you don't need fins.
Okay. It's just so like that book makes like it sound like you need everything.
Yeah.
And so
I just know that things are bulky.
yeah.
And if we're trying to pack light, that's just
Right.
I
I know they even like talk about bringing your own tank. I was like, come on, like who's gonna bring their own tank?
No, not even Lindsay had her own
Yeah.
tank. Yeah. I can see why they would say that because, you want to make sure that the air is good. You can get bad air.
Well, doesn't it say though? Like I just read this section. And it was like, don't use 100% oxygen.
Yeah, for sure.
They're probably
Yes, they should be. The night traps, you have to be specially certified.
Yep.
Yeah. And then it doesn't, I like the feeling, I'm sorry, but when you have a good day of diving and you're sleepy afterwards, I like that feeling. I mean, I'll go to dinner and maybe have a margarita and just be like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm tired, but I'm not overly
Yeah.
tired. I just feel super relaxed. But the nitrox is supposed to help you have energy after you dive instead of making you feel sleepy. So you don't have that feeling afterwards. But like I said, I like it. So a good day of diving, it's fun. You're gonna love diving. You're gonna love it.
I'm kind of nervous. What could
Yeah.
make me nervous? They're like, don't hold your breath when you ascend, otherwise
Yeah.
your lungs will explode. I'm like,
Yeah. But people underneath the water will be telling you keep blowing out. They'll cue you. They're gonna be watching you. Yeah. Especially Rachel Dance is amazing.
Yeah.
She's really great. And she's so calm. She's just so chill about everything.
yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
when I met her,
Yeah. So, if you really are nervous about something, you and your partner just stick with Rachel. And she'll, she's good. And I've dove with her. She's a good diver.
Yeah.
She's a really good diver.
I'm sure I'll feel better after I do my pool. It's just like
Yeah.
the unknown right now.
And
pandemic.
And even if you're, not great, I've been diving since '98, and I'm still not a good diver. I jump in the water without my fins. I jump in the water without my weight. And now I have it in my head. I have this mental little thing I go through, so I don't forget stuff anymore. But I'm notorious for just not doing the buddy check and jumping in without forgetting something.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly moving around, and so I am in awe of the divers. Doesn't mean that I am not safe.
Right.
It just means that I've seen good divers, and and Rachel's one of the best. She's awesome. But I have my rescue diver now, and I've done my advanced, and super fun. You're gonna have a great time, especially when you see all the fish and the turtles, and that's another thing. I'm not a fast diver, and I actually don't like when people speed through the water, or even drift diving. I don't really enjoy. I mean, I'll do it, but I like to just really kind of experience the whole thing, and so I don't want to speed through. I want you guys to just get down, see how beautiful it is, see all the fish that we talked about today. It's incredible. Yeah,
Like
then you
right
have
up
it.
my alley.
Yeah, and then you have it for the rest of your life.
I know Mark was funny when I went in to get my work. He was like, well, now you're going to be addicted.
Yeah.
I take trips every year. I'm like, yeah, if you pay for it.
Right. Or, if you do decide to go into wildlife medicine, you can come be a TA for me after Rachel.
Yeah. I might take you up on that.
Yeah. Well, Rachel was, she was such a natural choice.
Yeah.
She's a dive master and she's in the school wanting to do wildlife medicine. So yeah, there's lots of opportunities. And there's always, with Mark too, there's always ways to advance. I mean, Rachel's a perfect example. She worked all summer, I think last summer, to get that dive master, and that's not an easy task. So it's 6 weeks. So,
That's a lot.
it is. I mean, it's not just a weekend like a advanced or a rescue diver. So she's legit. Yeah, she's amazing. So you guys are in good hands.
Cool.
Yeah. Ashley, I'm so glad that things worked out with Chris too. I was a little skeptical because I was like, I'll just pitch it to Chris and see what he says. But he was so excited.
Well, now he's probably like, no, I don't have to do that work anymore.
Yeah, no, but he knows it needs to be done. And he just really would like the help, and I think this will be a great project for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It's like exactly what I wanted.
Oh,
so,
good.
Yeah.
And so being able to take it from being down there and seeing the start across and the program, and then taking it, watching us gather feathers and bring it back, and then
And I didn't know you guys were looking to
running and we're raising them and focusing them. But when you go into Guatemala, that's where you'll see at Arcus when we're there, there's like a huge cage with over 20, 30 scarlet macaws, and it's in a big flight cage. And all of those birds have been confiscated. So you can see that the trade is really in Guatemala, and then where do you release them?
Right.
And so if we can trace some of those birds back to Belize, if they were, you know what I mean?
Oh, so awesome.
No.
Makes me so happy
I
already.
know. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. I'm actually really excited to get this whole thing off the ground. I mean, everything, the Scarlet Macaw Project's only 3 years old. This is, yeah. I know. And so 10 years from now, when we've done all of this genotyping and the database that we can, and all the information that we can gather, you're kind of like at the ground up, you know what I mean? So all of the work that you're doing now is really going to be applicable to students 10 years from now. I know. Yes, thank you. I know. It's such a great idea. When we were kind of discussing it, but I think you knew what you had in mind. But yeah, but when I pitched it to Chris, I can tell you his eyes just lit up. Like, yes. So
Yeah, it's funny. He's like, oh, I'm gonna sit by you.
Yes, you have to. I'll make sure you guys get connected sometime before we go. But I want you to kind of get a vision of what he's thinking too and what he needs. He's kind of the mastermind behind all of this, and so I want to make sure that you guys are in touch with each other very soon, so that you can even when we go down there, what things that you're going to need.
Yeah. The logins.
Yeah. So even things that I haven't really even thought of that you might, because this is really more about organization in some ways.
Right.
Yeah, and making sure that we start off on the right foot so that we don't get disorganized. So we'll have a chat about it too when we're down there. Chris isn't going down with us, but he's gonna lead us to do very specific things. Yeah. So. All right.
I'm up for whatever.
All right, I'm excited. I'm glad that you're up for whatever. So thank you. Yes.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good. See ya, Ashlyn.
Should I clean this up?
I'll take it with me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Summer said to hold up high from a flattering angle. She went to the Jessup's, by the way. Please don't get mad at her. Josie's with her, so I'm sure. Oh, Alfonso, please call him back. He gets so emotional. And the cable guy came. He's on the roof. So please, keep your hands on him and come back from skating. What else? You know, I really wish that we would have put the door back here. I hate this window. Anyway, I love you, sweetie.
Margaret Henderson was killed by an owl. I think an autopsy will prove the marks on her head were caused by talons.
Oh, bravo. Runner, please. Seriously, please, I need this.
In light of this new evidence, I order Larry Henderson to be released pending a new trial, unless the state would like to drop the charges.
Fine. The state will drop the charges.
Thank you.
Oh, shut up. I should have killed him when I had the chance.
Josh. I don't understand much anymore. Turns out we're missing a lot of each other. Oh, Josh, no. Who did you kill? No one. And neither did you. You're coming home. Feels like a dream. Larry's back home, and I won my first murder trial.
Hey, there he is.
I wrote a poem for you in prison. He gave me hope when hope was gone. He gave me strength to journey on. Who am I? Who am I? I'm Larry Henderson.
That's from Les Mis.
I knew it came too easy. My point is, no one would have stuck with me like you did. You're more than my lawyer. You're like a son. And I... Me too. So what am I going to do, Josh?
Go back to your life. You're free.
Am I? I don't know. There'll always be a cloud over me here. What about you? What's next?
Honestly, I don't know. I guess go back to New York. You're gonna want to see this.
No, wait. Goodbye, Doc.
A body has been found in a suitcase near the petrol line. We may have a murder. Block is taxidermist? Someone must have hired the lawyer who got off the murder of Mary Henderson.
Could raise the beforehand. We're back in business. Hello? You know what? Let me take this call now. Well, I'm last killer on Benny Woods. I'll call myself right now. Third.
I'm gonna go now, Bert. Hey, you're not to take suicide again.
Josh Siegel and Associates.
On an all-new Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, Kevin Spacey drops by NBC Tonight.
Right now at 10, raising the minimum age to buy tobacco. The Metro community hoping to make it happen.
Keep your umbrella handy because there is more rain before we see that sun again.
Then the latest binge-worthy show puts suicide in the spotlight. How you can use it as a teaching tool with your kids. Also a proposed settlement between Certix and Minneapolis shot down. Plus a mother's plea to put your phone down behind the wheel. And what Twins Hall of Famer Rod Carew has to say about getting a second chance at life.
The greatest gift we can give is a gift of life.
The news starts now.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Randy is on assignment. Edina could become the first city in Minnesota to raise the minimum age to buy tobacco to 21. A city council meeting is underway as we speak, where members will vote on the change. Jay Olstead is there, and he joins us live with the latest on the meeting. Jay?
Yeah, Julie, the Edina City Council still hasn't taken up this issue at this point, but you can see behind me there are plenty of people here who still want to voice their opinions. Here's what we can tell you at this point. As we mentioned, a big crowd here tonight, so much so they had overflow seating. Now, some of that has to do with another controversial issue, a development plan for Edina. That said, supporters of this issue, raising the age to 21 for tobacco sales here in the city, reference the success of other communities across the country who have done the same thing and lowered tobacco use among young people. Specifically, they reference a Massachusetts community that increased the age to 21 despite surrounding cities not following suit, and they claim it choked off the supply to underage kids getting cigarettes from older friends.
And over the subsequent years, they found a 50% reduction in high school smoking rates, which is really significant.
But businesses who sell tobacco argue it will not impact public health, but will impact businesses in a negative way.
When those 18, 19, and 20-year-olds drive to a neighboring suburb, then they're going to buy their gas there, their food, and other items. So it exacerbates the sales decline for Edina retailers.
Again, the Edina City Council has not taken up this issue yet. We're expecting that to happen here shortly. Julie?
All right, we know you'll follow it for us. Thank you, Jay. New tonight, a tentative settlement between the city of Minneapolis and Certix is off the table. A city council committee rejected the proposal that stemmed from Certix selling liquor on a Sunday, which is illegal until July. The settlement included a 10-day suspension of the store's liquor license and a $6,000 fine. The city and Certix owner have a month to reach a new deal. That's when the committee will take up the issue again. Well, Forest Lake residents got the chance tonight to weigh in on a proposal to eliminate the city's police department and instead contract with the Washington County Sheriff's Office. Dozens of people packed an open house to learn about the proposal. City leaders say the move could save more than $300,000 a year, but some opponents say they'd rather pay higher taxes than see their police department disappear.
The message that the citizens who have stepped before the podium has been crystal clear. They're not putting a price tag on the cost of law enforcement services. They want the current police department to stay.
Our police budget is growing tremendously. It's unsustainable the way it is. And so we're looking at the county. County is providing a lot more services, a lot more specialized services than we could ever afford to provide for our citizens.
Well, Forest Lake Police currently serve a population of about 19,000. The Wall Street Journal is reporting tonight that Fox News is preparing to cut ties with its biggest star, Bill O'Reilly. The paper cites anonymous sources close to the situation who say the announcement could come in the next several days. O'Reilly, host of cable news' most popular show, The O'Reilly Factor, is embroiled in a sexual harassment scandal. We are getting new details about what went on during the search for the man accused of recording himself gunning down an elderly man and then posting that video on Facebook. Pennsylvania police say they kept a close watch on an Erie casino.
Has shown is that this is solely based on race.
Is the chief of communications at Leander Independent School District. Since the school year began, 5 students have committed suicide.
And then you can feel the pain and heartache when we lose one.
He says it takes the district as well as the community to take responsibility and staying focused on the issue. And as a parent himself, Abbott says you are their first teacher.
Probe until you find out what's really on their mind. Sometimes in our busy worlds, it can be easy to get too busy to pay too close attention.
And 13 reasons why several characters face issues teens deal with on a daily basis. Marilee Keller from the Texas Suicide Prevention Council says suicide prevention is being discussed more now than ever before.
It was kind of the other S word that you didn't talk about 17 years ago.
Keller says parents need to get involved. Their site offers special training videos, lists warning signs, and appropriate referral strategies. Resources she feels weren't shown enough in the show.
We're very concerned that messages go out that stress helps, that let teens know that suicide is one of the most preventable of tragedies.
Keller recommends to watch the show with your teen. Help them build an outside positive connection like volunteering or church to let them know there is hope. In Leander, Nicole Rosales, KU News.
Well, soon enough, summer will be here and parents will be lathering their kids in sunscreen. But what about when your kids are in school and out of reach? Turns out sunscreen isn't allowed in many schools without a doctor's note because the FDA considers sunscreen an over-the-counter medication. That's worrisome to parents and leaders in Washington State who are taking steps to allow school employees to help students apply sunscreen.
Even one sunburn in childhood doubles your risk of developing skin cancer, including melanoma, later in life.
500 kids are diagnosed with melanoma each year, and it's the second most commonly diagnosed cancer in people aged 15 to 29. And we were talking earlier about how strong that sun is already. You can really feel it when you're outside, which is great.
Yeah, I know. That's something to remember.
When we see it.
Yes, that's true. We'll see it again this weekend. You know, this week is Severe Weather Awareness Week, and today is probably one of the most important days. Thursday also quite important because that's when we have the tornado drills. But today is all about strong winds, hail, and lightning. Take a look at this video.
Wow.
Way too close for comfort, let me tell you. Those folks are okay, but of course they might have not been. Being close to water alone is not a very smart move. So let's take a look at some stats on lightning. You know, it is, the thing is that a lot of people don't like the thunder. A lot of kids I know that I talk to don't like the thunder, but the thunder is actually really, really helpful because the thunder tells you that the lightning is coming. The lightning is, of course, what is so dangerous. So if you can hear the thunder, you are close enough to be struck by lightning. You can actually get struck by lightning 10 miles from the actual storm. So be aware of that. Along with, there is no place outdoors that is safe during a thunderstorm. So obviously indoors is the best place to be. And then lightning does kill more people than tornadoes. So just a few stats for you tonight. Lightning is hotter than the surface of the sun. So It's nothing to fool around with. I'm out in schools all the time talking to kids about it, and just something to note as we move into these months that are these weeks, I should say, ahead that can be quite stormy. As we move into the next couple of days, it's just rain, and it will be coming in from the west and southwest. In fact, as we speak, it is moving across Wyoming and heading into South Dakota and Nebraska, our next batch of rain. So it's going to reach here at about 4 o'clock tomorrow. So here's your planner. We'll start the morning out with a little bit of sunshine. By 2, it'll cloud up. By 4 is when the rain really comes in from the south, and it rains through the evening commute. It will only be about 55 degrees tomorrow, so a tad cooler than average. So partly cloudy overnight tonight. And then tomorrow morning, there's that little sliver of sunshine that we will have. And then as we move into the afternoon, here come the clouds. This is 3 o'clock. And then look at this rain that kind of comes through the region all through between 3 o'clock and 9 p.m., 10 p.m., and midnight. By 6 a.m., we have a batch of lingering showers that will wrap through, ending at about noon on Thursday. So a couple of cooler days ahead, 55 and 51. Here are the daytime highs across the state tomorrow. 55 here, 52 in Mankato, where the rain will come in earlier. It'll be cooler there, 49 in Jackson. And it will be actually a little bit brighter up to the north, 53 in Brainerd and 54 in Bemidji. And as we take a look at the 7-day, once again, 51 for Thursday, and the rain should last till about lunchtime, then it will clear out, but it'll be cool. But then here's the weekend, looking great. Just a nice 3-day period here that just happens to line up with the weekend. Earth Day as well. That'll be the nicest day of the weekend. A few more clouds on Sunday. And then as we get into early next week, we have just a few more showers in the forecast, and pretty persistent wet pattern here, which is pretty typical of April as well. We're just a tad above average when it comes to moisture for April. And those temperatures, well, right about where we should be. The average now is 60 degrees.
Yeah, I was wondering, is it turning out to be a wetter April than normal? But this is pretty normal, huh?
It is pretty normal. We're just a little bit above average, so we'll see how we end up after the next 2 days.
Thanks, Belle.
Yep.
Well, for the first time tonight, we're hearing from Twins Hall of Famer Rod Carew about his life-saving heart transplant. Not long ago, Carew was informed that his donor was Baltimore Ravens tight end Conrad Ruland. Ruland died back in December at the age of 29 from a brain aneurysm. Today, his family came together with Carew to promote heart health awareness and to encourage everyone to become organ donors.
Well, I promised that I would take care of Conrad's heart. And whatever journey I take, he's going to be right there with me, helping me to save other people's lives.
And when I left him for the last time, I told the doctors, I said, whoever gets this heart better deserve it, because it was a good heart. And I really feel that the man that got his heart truly did deserve it.
Well, this is not the first time that Carew and Ruland's mother have met. They actually met 3 months after the transplant, when Ruland's mom told Carew that he's part of the family now. Truly an amazing story, and I understand Ruland, Eric, actually met Carew when he was a child and was so impressed with him. And what an amazing story to come full circle. Eric's got more in sports.
The heart of 29 lives on, that's for sure. Awesome story. Hey, Minnesota Wild trying to be an awesome story. Can they be the 15 out of 185 that have come back from a 3-0 deficit? That story on the left.
You know how it is. Someone does something nice for you and you feel obligated to do something nice back. Maybe your aunt sent you a crocheted scarf. You sent her a thank you note and the crochet just kept on coming. Well, at CarMax, you don't have to return the favor. They'll buy your car even if you don't buy a car from them. Because feeling obligated...
Okay, sweetie, I'm almost done here. Grading. Hate it. Oh, you're fine. Lie down.